I'm always amazed by how many other Africans don't know their own history. I was over at UC Berkeley and I was talking to a Nigerian guy who was wearing his Nigerian garb. I mean, he was not wearing American clothes. He was wearing his traditional Nigerian attire. And he and I got into a polite conversation, and he was like, "Yeah, man, a lot of my people don't understand where things came from, how things came to be." And I said, "You know what? I'm happy we having this conversation. I wish I was recording it because I run into a lot of other Africans, which I told him I called these other Africans Afadi Africans, anything for a dollar immigrants. And when you're anything for a dollar immigrant, you don't understand politics at all. All you understand is how can I get some money? And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that politics change every 8 to 10 years, and you may have 12 years of making money, and then on that 13th year, the policies change, and now you're no longer making money like that. And Afadi Africans have a problem with that understanding. Everything's about an opportunity until it backfires. And then when it backfires, oh, now I know what you FBA people are talking about. Well, you went through 12 years of wagging your finger and lecturing when really you was a new money type of dude. You was making new money. So what I find is when we talk about the history of a lot of African places, I mention a lot of African gods that existed before the Roman Jewish Christ event. It happened way before. Okay? And many people living in the region don't even know about those guys. They don't know who Bomazi is. Have no clue. Never heard of it. And I'm like, wow, how is it how are, and I always cross-reference information. And I'm a firm believer that the Persians, the Greeks, the Egyptians, the Libyans, the Ethiopians have a good documented history. The Iraqis, they all saying the same thing about your land, but you're not saying it. And then, okay, cool. Those 4, 5 people are wrong. What happened in 600 BC? Well, I don't know, but you got to go pay $4,000, fly back to my country and talk to this particular family and it. What? So you don't know it off the top of your head. Who's your Frederick Douglass? You don't know. Who's your Crispus Attucks? You don't know. Who's your John Hanson? You don't know. Who's your Ebonicio? I don't know. Jesus, it's a lot you not knowing. People always talk about tribes. A lot of these tribes did not exist, and we know they did not exist because I've been to Africa 4 times, even the oral history of how it came to be, some of these tribes are from Arabs. It's not even an African tribe. It's an Arab created tribe. So here's a question I always ask, and I want you to start asking Africans this too. Is your tribe created by Arabs? And when the person says no, okay, what's the name of the person who created your tribe? Let that sink in. Ask them, what is the name of the person who created your tribe? Or what year did your tribe start? And it's fascinating that they don't know. It's like people who think that Nigeria has always been there. Nigeria was not always there. It was part of a different empire until the white people took it over. People don't even know Nigeria was started by a white man. The concept of Nigeria was started by a wealthy white Englishman and his wife. The Africans didn't create Nigeria. You don't even know the story in Staccato, how they killed the tribal leaders. Notice I said tribe. They killed the tribal leaders and put in 4 women to run Staccato while they went back to England. That's a real thing that happened. Most people don't even have a clue what I'm talking about. And then you'll ask them, so what happened in Staccato when Lord Lugard came? They have no idea. Don't even know who Lord Lugard is. And the same thing in Liberia. Hey, when the Americanos landed and they had this meeting with the shorter Africans, I don't want to use the name because people get offended if I use the name. That meeting was documented. That meeting happened. What does your people say about that meeting? Have no clue. Okay, so the meeting didn't happen? Okay, cool. What happened when the Americos landed? No idea what I'm talking about. This is a problem. This is a problem. And you have some polite, cool Africans. I'm not starting a war with Africans. I'm having the same pushback I'm gonna have against the hood Americans. I'm gonna say the same thing to the hood Americans. Who started your gang? A 15-year-old and a 12-year-old started your gang? Okay. So later on, a 28-year-old from New York came and joined these 15-year-olds and 12-year-olds. Okay. And then the 15-year-old became 17, and the 17-year-old became 14, and the 14-year-old had sex with the 17-year-old's girl. Y'all had a fist fight about it, and the 28-year-old from New York shot the winner. And then that created a 25-year war. Huh? What? So all these people died over vagina? Okay. See, I'm saying the same thing about Americans. The same exact thing. Congo. So the king controlled everything, and he was keeping the outsiders out. You got a little 12-year-old boy to shoot him. That's real manhood shit. You got a 12-year-old boy to shoot him, and then you took over, and it became worse under your leadership than it did when the king was running. Same thing in Liberia. You had one of the Americos trying to bring you into the fold. You're a general. You was impatient. You killed the Americos leader in his sleep, mind you. So a lot of that shit happened in African history. Killed him in his bed. You became the leader, and then Firestone didn't want to do business with you, so you lost the rubber contract. Then everything went into chaos, and then you had the first civil war. All because you wanted to kill the leader. The white man didn't do it. You did it as an African, killing another African. This is why I said people got to understand how this stuff came about. And the more we get Africans at the forefront having real conversations, then the children of 2050 are going to benefit, because we're going to get a lot of this stuff out the way. And one more against Americans, because I'm trying to be fair. East Coast guys talk on the microphone more than everybody. When you look at how many black people are on the microphone, it's mostly East Coast guys. And when it's not an East Coast guy, it's a dude from the South. But here's the question I always ask. Why are dudes so female dominated? And here's what I mean by female dominated. A lot of dudes can't even talk about their own son, their own legacy. Everything has to be about a woman or dating. Make that make sense. If I got something wrong, put it in the comment section, man. If you think it's something I didn't understand, put it in the comment section. Let's have this discussion.